Welcome to Truth Be Told About Going Wild. I'm your host, Robert Hensley, and this is the podcast inspired by the principles of personal rewilding. Hey everyone, I am coming to you from a very cold and snowy mountaintop in Pennsylvania today. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is the fourth pillar of rewilding, this idea of honoring our wild ancestors. I know we've talked about this in the past. Maybe you're tired of hearing me harp about it a little bit, but it's really important. And this is why. In order for us to really take our place in society in the greater sense of the natural world, right? Because we are natural beings, we're all part of nature. We do have to acknowledge that we are connected to every other being on the planet, right? Human and otherwise. And so we start to think about this idea of lineage and relations and kin and how that looks, what that looks like, our kind of past generations and our connections to the past. There's a beautiful poem that I found online. I think it was the Daily Shaman on Facebook posted it. And this is the poem. You were once your own ancestor and will be again. Your ancestral manes from other lifetimes still rest in sacred ground, in the quiet folds of old forests, beneath stones that remember, in soil that still sings your name. The land holds your stories, not lost, but layered, woven into the dreaming of earth. Walk gently. She knows you. Right? There's something about that poem that just spoke to me. I wanted to share that today. And I also wanted just to remind people that there are traces of the past of every generation before us, right? It dwells deep inside our souls. Our connection to nature, the relationship that we have with the natural world. You know, when we talk about personal rewilding, it's not new, right? It's why I sometimes utilize the phrase rekindling our connection or relationship to the natural world, and it's because we are rekindling it, right? That relationship is an inherited birthright, right? It's printed upon our DNA. So when we talk about our relationship with nature, we need to think about that kind of in the same terms that we talk about generational trauma, right? The things that have happened to the people in the past somehow get printed into our DNA, and we end up suffering for years dealing with the same stuff that all of these other people dealt with, whether or not it happened to us directly or not, right? Those indirect traumas affect us and change our DNA, right? But the same thing happens with all of our successes, right? So the people who succeeded and survived for generations before we got here, their successes, their relationships are also stored in our DNA, right? They shaped who we are. So we can't forget that this relationship is not new. Personal rewilding isn't about opening a new door. It's about opening a door that's already been there for eons, right? And for us to allow for an open flow of communication between ourselves and the natural world, right? So we're not strangers to the wild, right? Just like the poem says, she knows you. We are ancient kin with every other living being on the planet, right? So when we honor our ancestors, we're also honoring future generations, right? So when we reconnect to those relations, to those kind of family members, right? We're taking up our rightful role as stewards, right? That's the overall goal. When we have rewilded, when we have chosen to open that door, when we've chosen to rekindle that connection to the natural world, we are making ourselves ready to be more involved in the care of the planet, in the care of each other, in the care of all other beings, of taking more responsibility for our being on this planet, right? And so those are the things that I want to talk about more readily moving forward, is how we become stronger stewards. How do we, again, honor our ancestors, honor future generations, honor ourselves, right? So much of this happens because we feel like we don't belong. We don't have a sense of place. We don't have a pride of place. We don't have um, an understanding of our role in the universe. We seem lost, right? And we all go through moments of that. Everyone. Some people feel it more keenly than others. Um, and rewilding is that thing that will give that back to us, right? Where we can start to feel like we are part of a bigger picture, that we have a purpose, that there is something driving us forward, and that there is a goal at the end of the day. That is not about making money or, working for the man, right? But something that is solely just for us. Um, and so, yeah, so that's what is on my mind today. That's what I wanted to share with you. And I hope that you are all, whether you're on a snowy mountaintop like I am, or you're somewhere where it's warm and sunny, I just hope that you are safe and really starting to think about the holiday season, and what that means for you and your family. So I hope that that is a time of remembrance and joy and beauty and peace and love. And if you are interested in knowing more about what's happening with Robert Hensley Nature Reconnect, you can check out the website. Again, roberthensleynaturereconnect.com. And remember, there are 3 opportunities each week for new content from the Truth Be Told family of podcasts on the Club Paranormal channel on YouTube. You can listen on Fridays for Tony Sweet with the original Truth Be Told at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. Bonnie Burkert with Truth Be Told Transformations on Wednesdays. And Truth Be Told about going wild every Monday, same time, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern. And until next time.